Yeah, well, I got held up, you know. What happened to your hand?
Like you care.
Yeah, well, I got held up, you know. What happened to your hand? Like you care. I'm right here. You're late. You're late. Yeah, well, I got held up, you know. So I'm not gonna. There's nothing really to teach here. If you listen again, you should hear it. I'm guessing for many of you, it's a new phrase, to be held up. I got held up. I was held up. Well, that could have different meanings. I got held up. Great expression. Okay, and we'll talk about this tomorrow. So just say it with me. I got held up. I got held up. I got held up. I got held up. I got held up, you know? I got held up, you know? Now, so the word what, remember a couple weeks ago we talked about the lazy T, where instead of what, we just say what? That's kind of what Kramer did, but there's not even a what. It's like, what happened? What happened? What happened? Yeah, it's really, what is it? It's a that's what he says, but the syntax, the sentence, the structure of the sentence, there's no question that Kramer is saying what. Does he say clearly the word what? Not at all. But that's what he's saying, okay? We know that because of the rest of the sentence, the rest of the flow. So what happened to? Now, a couple of things. First of all, the word to has 7 pronunciations. As you guys know, we'll talk about this in March again. The most common are t and d. When do we use t? When do we use d? Anytime. But sometimes this will influence whether or not we say d or t. So if this sound is vibrated, probably we're going to use the d, which is vibrated. If this sound is aspirated, we'll probably use the t. So what do we have? We have the word happened. That's a D, vibrated. So most likely we're going to use the D here. And we could just put it together. So perfect pronunciation, happened, D, happened, D. But we put those D's together, happened, happened, happened. What happened to your hand? We can do that. Happened to your hand, happened to your hand. However, we have another situation. The strong sound N, you guys know the strong sounds, S, N, L, is going to cancel that D. D is a weak sound, D, T, T, H, right? And we get happen, happen. Okay, the D's gone. If we keep the D, happened, happened. But the N is going to cancel it, happen, happen. And that's exactly what Kramer says. Happen. What happened to your hand? What happened to your hand? What happened to your hand? I know, what? It's terrible. But that's why I chose it. What happened to your hand? Perfect English. What happened to your hand? Like out of 1,000 people, out of 10,000 people, maybe one person will say that. And the other 9,000 will probably say, what happened to your hand? What happened to your hand? What happened to your, what happened to your, happened to your, what happened to your hand? What happened to your hand? Once again, this is your, same pronunciation as this one, right? Your. And Jerry says, like you care. Like you care. Good job. Jerry's that night. The lights are off. But we see the silhouette, the shadow, the image, the outline of Kramer as he pops in. Jerry. Hey, Jerry. Now we can see like a ghost. We can just make out Jerry. We can just see Jerry. Just barely see him sitting at his kitchen table facing the door. Strongly. I'm right here. Kramer switches on the light to reveal an unhappy Jerry and a beautifully, very nicely, elegantly set table. There's the main dish. There's the 2 plates, like at a restaurant. Wine glasses for 2. You're late, Jerry says. Evidently, Jerry and Kramer had a date. Kramer. Yeah, well, I got held up. Yeah, to get held up is a great expression. So you're at work and you're working until 5 o'clock, and then at 5 o'clock you're going to go home, right? But somebody grabs you. They hold you. They hold you up. My work is holding me up. My boss is holding me up. My team is holding me up. Traffic is holding me up. That's the idea. It's holding you up completely, holding you completely so that you cannot leave. That's the idea. So I got held up. Maybe the boss was holding him up. Maybe work was holding him up. We don't know. You know? He sees that Jerry's wrist is broken. Jillian broke his wrist. What happened to your hand? Like a little girl. Niffy. Like you care. In this case, like, as if you care. In other words, the nuance is, you don't care. Why should I tell you what happened to my wrist? You don't care.
Yeah, well, I got held up, you know. What happened to your hand?
Like you care.
Yeah, well, I got held up, you know. What happened to your hand?
Like you care.